Good morning. Here we are again at AJeweldDesign. I'm Jolene, and I'm sorry, last week I was a day early. This week I'm about a day or so late. I had a brainstorm in the midst of making all of the Christmas presents. I'm making them Christmas presents for some friends and family, which is one you probably can't see in the glare. There's a second one, the second little winter Christmas daily that I'm working on. In the midst of doing this one, isn't this cute? Took snowflakes and things and made pockets. The brainstorm moments. But as I was working on the second one, as you sort of get a feel for the, like we did for the last one, isn't that cute? Made my first cardboard collated cluster thing. I had the brainstorm to start working on Christmas cards, right? And here I made these little envelopes to put my letter in there to my friends, right? I thought, what if I made this a little bigger? What if I put, a Christmas card in it and sent it out to friends and family? I did worry, though, that in the midst of what's going on and the weird weather, if I sent anything back east or even midway, that the ink would run on the envelope. So I'm still worried about that. But I did come up with an idea. So since we're working on presents and we're working on Christmas, I forgot that the envelopes I was working on for my friends are my porch print sort of layout. And I've been creating my own envelopes within the kits that you guys purchased from me. And I was like, why am I recreating the wheel? I've already done this. And this one I really love because it has a scallopy insert so that when you fold it up, it doesn't go all the way to the top. You have a little bit of personality in it. And people have used this for many different ways. I've used it in different ways. But I felt that for each one of my Christmas kits, a little something extra needed to be done before the Christmas season is in full swing and, or as it is in full swing, that we did one more thing to all my kits. And so I'm adding a mini file folder booklet with envelope. And each kit, the Pink Shabby Christmas at home, the Christmas at my door, and the Snowy Winter kit will all have an additional kit simply to make mini file folder books. And to add to it, you can simply purchase just this and make a booklet and make a bunch of them for your friends and family that enjoy this, or you want a little special something. It's a little bit more than just a greeting card. And they use it and they write in it great. If they don't, it's something cute, but it comes in a cute envelope, so it makes it, it's wrapping it within the envelope, and it's good. So I thought I'd show you the pages and how I printed them, so you get a feel for when you open the kit, you have an idea or a suggestion on what to print on what. And then I would go through and put this together, so you can see just how, hopefully how simple and how self-sustaining this little kit is. That the mini file folder kit can be on its own, I hope. If you want to, of course, embellish it and add to it and expand on it, you have the sticker planner kit for little embellishments. You have the full kit to add on to it. So if you already bought this kit, then this is just a little extra and would be just one more thing you can do with the kit and not have to keep reprinting certain pages over and over to make it. So to begin with, we have my 6 by 4 1/4, 4 1/2 envelope. And I went ahead and provided, in case you didn't have it, the pink snowflake sheet. So you would print this and this, which I think is page 1 and 7, back to back. You would print them as print on both sides, and you would flip it on the long side. That way, you're sort of kept at the same angle, vertical to vertical. So I did that. So when we folded it, you had a little pink something to see on the inside. Okay, so there's that. And then here is the file folders. 2 up. They are about, what did I say, 5 1/2 tall. Not quite 5 1/2 out, just under 5. So 5 1/4 tall by 4 to the edge of the tab. But everything I've created fits just inside this booklet. So your pages, your signature on the middle signature, everything fits inside these. So the only thing you have to worry about is cutting your paper. And if you stick to the journal cards that I used to make, that I got inspired to make the inside of your signature, if you cut all your pages to fit that signature, which I'll show you, it works beautifully. So I did one with roses and the Christmas letter on the shiplap, and then I did a collage repeat pattern of the ornaments with the little tiny mini roses on cream. It has some cute things I can't wait to layer on these. Now this one is page 2, and I printed it with page 6 so that the bottom and the top of the inside of the file folder had some pattern. Now you can print it on your favorite cream paper and keep it very file folder-ish and just distress it, or you can print it with this half-page paperwork to make it another just decorative piece. So these line up beautifully with this, so when I cut this out, this will be on the back very well. And I hope I did not. Ooh, I cut that close. Wow, I just thought about that. I'll have to go check that out. Anyway, apparently my bottom one here lines up just with that. So I'll tweak that, which is why I'm showing you guys this. Before I release it, or by the time you guys see this, I will have fixed everything and release the kit. But I wanted to play with it with you guys and sort of make sure it does sustain itself, so that you didn't have to buy another kit. You didn't have to buy the other kits if you just want to do these cute little gifts for you and your close friends. You didn't have to buy the other kits. But if you happen to buy the other kits, this was just more fun to add to it. Just like I did with my autumn one when I added the extra add-ons just to give you a little extra something. So, okay, so there's our covers to our mini file folder booklets. Journals, booklets, either one. So I got the idea and from a scrapbooking sheet and from another journaler. She took strips of cards and they fit just right. And she had cut 2 up, folded it in the middle and put it and folded it here. So this was literally the middle of your signature to your booklets. And I thought it was a great idea. So I've given you 2, a set each that I felt could go with either one. I sort of have this theme going with this one. And so I'll probably put this one in here and I'll probably put this one in here. Gonna get mom off camera, right? I'm like, okay. So I'm assuming today for demonstrations, I'm keeping this with this. I'm going to keep this with this. It's going to be the middle. And again, when you cut all the way around, it fits just inside the file folder. And then I would use this before you, of course, do anything. And I would cut any papers you want to use. Cream, cardstock, not cream cardstock, but cream paper, pink avocado paper, coffee dyed paper, whatever you want. I would definitely cut it to match this before you fold it. That way everything's about the same size. And on this one, I personally printed it on this. You could print it on the pink paper. You could even keep to the same theme and print these with this on the back, where they do match. But if you flip the paper around, you can actually get this on the back of this one. So depends what you want to do, how many times you want to run it through your printer. But you have a number of different things where I think you have 3 different pages. You have this double page, you have this one, and the pink distress paper that's attached to this kit that you could print on the back of these cards. Or your favorite cardstock that's cream, or you have a cardstock that maybe is coffee, whatever you want to do. Because the inside or the back side of these is another page to your signature. So I did those. So I was stoked with it. But I did this just to sort of keep a theme going, I guess. Draw the snowflakes from the envelopes into the thing. And then I did 3 possible smaller, just a slightly smaller journal cards to actually put as a layer to the front of your card. Again, I got a lot of inspiration this week. So these all fit just smaller, just enough to put in here. You could still have a little bit of room to back it with lace, back it with another layer. You could border these a little bit more, lay it on top of this to give you a nice layered cover effect. Of course, this we want to do covers, right? So again, like I said, I have this theme going. But I'm going to put this one on here. I'm going to put the Christmas tree on here and then embellish them both up. This one I think I'm just going to use as a journal card that I'll decorate into one of my 2 pockets that I have. So I did create, I guess it's considered a Hermelina corner pocket. So this is physically your corner pocket, okay? But instead of gluing this down, you are going to print something on the back side. In this case, I printed the pink distressed paper, right? To make it a journal spot. Something to journal on. So if you cut the full square out, fold here, and only put glue along this dotted line, that when you put this in the corner, which I'll show you, and this is where it's folded, this is glued down, this is folded over, so that when you open it, you still have a pocket, but you also have a journal spot. So hopefully I did this right. We'll find out. Again, it'll be fixed by the time you guys get it, but I'm going to figure that out today. So I'm going to try to create a Hermelina corner pocket. It's a pocket, it's a journal spot, it's something decorative on these little pages, and they do fit inside the pages. I made sure everything was small enough to fit in here, and I didn't, hopefully didn't overdo it. So I do provide the pink distress paper, digital, in this kit, because I felt, in this case, pink would work. I'm going to do a cream one in the Christmas at Your Door, and there'll be a blue and silver one, of course, for the winter, the snowy winter one. So each one has, of course, its elements. Now, everything so far I've showed you is printed on cardstock. So it's nice and hardy. It's thick. It's, it's got some substance to it. Though the last pages, I did just print back on nice bright white paper. What you can have your coffee dye, you can have cream paper, whatever you wanted that you like for that crunchy, yummy feeling. I printed the pink distress paper. And I will take, like I said, these, once I cut this out, I'm going to lay it down and probably still only get 2 up, which I expected. But if I want one corner distressed, whatever, I have some room to debate on where I want to trace them out and cut to fit the same size. So I printed 3 pages because you get at least 2 to a page, double-sided, so there's 4, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times 3 is 24. And then your signature in the middle gives you 2 more pages, which I guess makes it 26 if you use the inside of your signature, which I printed pink, so not so much. You could sort of write on the inside of this, the outside, inside, whatever you want to call it, or just decorate it, totally up to you. But either way, I've got both going. So like I said, I went ahead and did this because these will be my pages. For though design all this stuff, do not have a lot of random, varied paper to actually journal on or craft on. I have some dark creamy parchment paper, but for something like this, the color it's sort of in this range. I didn't lend to that. I could, if I wanted to keep the creams in here, I could use the parchment paper, not cardstock, but parchment paper in here. But I don't have coffee dyed papers or tea dyed papers. I have a piece of paper here or there of pink avocado or green avocado paper, but it's like 1 page to add into it, which I might do. I didn't think about that. Maybe I'll add the green one. Since the Christmas at Your Door is a cream paper, I might slip in a slip of green avocado paper. That might be fun. So yeah, I give you guys the opportunity to print your sort of pink paper if you don't have any in this kit. Otherwise, you can ignore that or just use it to back certain things. If you want everything pink backed, you have that image within your kit. So I'm going to go ahead and quit jibber jabbering, and I'm going to make this up so you can watch me do it so we can see how it's all panning out, if it all works as is, and I will chime in as I go. I'll let you know, well, yep, that worked. No, that didn't. I fixed this. I fixed that. And a little journal with me, and then I'll catch up with you on the other end and let you know when these will be available and all that fun stuff. So I brought all my stuff. I have all my goodies. And I hope you will follow along with me to the end so that you can check back later when you buy the kit. You can follow along again and make sure we did all the same stuff. So, all right. Thank you for watching, and I hope you continue, and I'll talk to you soon. So for the most part, I am just cutting around the trims, around the edges, trying to make sure everything, fits well. I'm hoping that the Christmas music and my voice will drown out some of my neighbor too. Since my workspace is in my garage, everything outside does tend to drape inward. So, my neighbor thought it would be a good day to detail his car, so that constant humming is in the background. So, I'm doing the best I can when I'm talking at different levels, at different ways, that you guys don't have to hear much of that. But I apologize. It was either that or the heater. One way or another, there was going to be some background noise. As you can tell, I don't waste much of anything. If I could find decent pieces of the background ink pages to keep them, because you never know. I constantly pull stuff out and wonder, can I use it? Can I layer with it? Can I create something different with it? I like sort of weaving random pieces of paper together to make different journal cards. Found that out come autumn, so I will probably have a stack of weaved journal cards for Christmas too. Now, I've been working on my snowy winter kits, so everything has been distressed in a hickory smoke for a silvery tint or a little bit of an ash feel. So I am back to my vintage photo on this one to keep it a little bit more, I guess, vintage. Not so much. I don't really have a lot of pink distress inks. I did find sort of a plummy color that I'll use probably on the second book. But for now, I'm going back to the vintage just to give it a nice warm feeling. So everything seemed to fold pretty well. Again, with other things, I noticed it's sort of a trial and error and operator error. Couldn't figure out why that corner wouldn't cover, and then I realized I hadn't folded down enough. And with cardstock, once you fold, it's really hard to fix. But I gave it a real vintage look at the end, like I've opened and closed this envelope millions of times, which is another fun part of using the vintage photo, is it definitely gives you that old world feel. But for the life of me, could not get that to thin out. But you'll do better than I did. I know you will. I was told that this kit this envelope was very well made, but I did shift the size a little bit to work this, so I may have screwed up my own perfection. I don't know. But I know you all will fold and cut this way better than I did. I've never been able to cut in a straight line, and apparently I cannot fold in a straight line either. Now, another journaler did suggest that when you're making your index card, to sort of cut around the tabs in big chunks so that and here it works well on the top to trim it up and cut it all at once. I folded it really well again, and the tabs match up nicely. More scraps. Now I made the mistake of doing the top to see if the corner edge cutter would work. It's a little deeper than the corners I created, but again, so it's looking really pretty. It looks like it's definitely a set. Things are definitely matching up in a number of ways. Now I tried to do the same thing with this one, where I would fold it and cut the edges and the tabs at the same time. And come to find out, apparently on the printer this is where things do flip, even though they're on the long side. When they flip things, there's tendency to have the margins be a little different, or the printer just grabbed the paper a little off. So yeah, I had to tweak it to make it work both ways, but I mean, it came out great in the end. That wasn't an issue. It's just I had to fuss with it, which is what I did with most of this kit throughout the thing, as you'll find out. That's the joy of crafting, right? We sit here and make it work. Man, little by little, my scrap pile is definitely growing. Alright. So even that one, I think all decorated, is going to look good with that envelope. We have the two pieces. But I think we'll get to the distressing. I think I'm going to wait to distress it, in this case, for the cards until to the end, as I'm decorating, to make sure that I want to distress it still in the vintage photo. So I do have sort of a plummy color that I may hit up on some aspects on either one of the kits. if I don't want to go too vintagey. Yeah, now it was definitely easier to use the paper cutter to get these long strips taken care of, so that I wasn't trying to keep things cut straight. Not that paper cutter guarantees I cut anything straight, but there we go. So that made it much easier, much quicker. Now, I did mark these up as a template, like I mentioned, so that I knew how big to make the papers to go inside. And since there's only 3 sheets, I was able to cut them all at once, so I was not, taking forever to cut these. Of course, now I have strips, more scraps, which is fine. I almost thought about ripping the edges, but then I realized only 2 edges would be ripped, and that was just going to drive me insane. So I trimmed everything off, because I was not going to go back and rip every single one of those pages individually. So far, fitting nicely inside the signature fold. And, yeah, that one again, I had this weird gap. I don't know what the deal is. And that's a printer thing. I didn't notice that. I was right. That second set ended up a little long, or a little tall. And I went ahead and, went to my original size and matched them up. Oh, the scraps. Oh, the scraps. Scrappy Saturday for me here soon. Gosh gracious. I'll be able to create right along with Gail here soon. My handy thing. Make sure it fits inside nicely. Doing well. I folded them in the same set of sheets as I did before. As I cut them, I sort of measured them, but I did realize that I had everything going the same direction, or none. So I rearranged them and sort of did this every other distressed corner bit for the book. Okay, so I'm back from the sewing end of all of this, and realized sewing a book together is not my best thing. I don't never get the tension right. So this one's a little messy. Now I can cover this. I can cover this with lace, which will help with the layering, reinforce it. But because of the cardstock here and the cardstock here, my tension is too tight and it's a little rippy. But this is the demo. This is what I'm working on, trying to figure out the ins and outs and make sure it works. So if you have the skills and you have the sewing machine and you know how to sew these together, you've been doing it, definitely sew them together if that works for you. Now, I'm become the new one that loves to do more of the bookbinding with the and the string. And even though these are bigger and they're actually, thick, they're not really, well, they're thicker because of this, I guess. I did the string thing. I went ahead and I even used thinner string because I felt the big wax string wasn't needed for this, and I'd do the same thing with this. I'd use my quilting, hand quilting embroidery thread, and I just put my 3 holes in there, looped it through. So it's just a nice simple 1, 2, 3 binding, it's sort of like a figure 8 when you put it together. And I know it's going to be together. I know it's going to stay. I know that it's not going to move, and I'm not going to rip all the pages out. So the ones I make from here on out, I think I'm just going to bind them with string, like I did with the other kits, just so I don't have to do as much layering or fixing. But like I said, this was a moment to fix these. So when I do this one, I will find pink thread, pink or cream, and I will just do the holes and bind it. Now with these littler ones, you probably even could just do top and bottom if you just want to put it in place. But I would probably do the third one. It really just keeps it in place and really works it out. So, okay, so we have the first one technically put together. Great, right? 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. And 12 is 24. And if you wanted to, you could write something really large to make it 25 and 26 pages. Okay? Totally doable. So we're going to continue on with the other pieces. And we're going to work on it. Now, what I didn't mention or would suggest is that with this one, even though I gave you the journal cards for the inside signature, I gave you, and I gave you the oh my gosh, I can't think. The index cards and file folder covers. To make 2, you will have to print 2 envelopes. So you have 1 for each one. And I just realized if you wanted to, you could flip these around. Because you take these up and down and you take this with the other one that's 2-faced, you could flip this around. You could decide that you want this for your cover and this for your inside, and the same thing with the other one. You could decide you want stripes and you really want to decorate it and you want it more decorative on the inside. So you could print these pages twice and have 4 of them, and you would just have to print these twice to have, 4 sets of these too. So you can continue to do this in multiple times and make a number of these, and they're all a little different. You could definitely have 4 different ones by doing this. It's just the insides would be the same on 2 of them. Unless you cut these in half and you put them on, you just barely border them on something else, then you could flip these around. You could cut them all, 4 of them, and put them on a piece of paper that fits the index card, and so sort of, they're sort of bordered. And you could make your own signature in a different way. So there is still, with a little bit of extra printing, you could make more than just 2 of these. You just have to print this page, because it is a full page, more than once until you get as many envelopes as you need. Now, we haven't glued this down yet, which I'll do next. But it does fit in here beautifully. There's room to spare for the tab, and you don't feel like you're squishing it in here, which is great. So let me glue this down and keep decorating. So I will get some speed video going here, and I'll keep talking over as we do this. But hey, we're getting there, right? This is working out really nice, and I see a lot of potential and variation in this that could make a number of sets of gifts pretty quickly, pretty easily. And with the 3 different sets, you have, 2 shabby, you have 2 more Victorian, not Victorian, but vintagey. Christmas at Your Door is the doors and the poinsettias and the holly for your red and green. And then you have your Snowy Winter, which is your blue, your snowflakes, your hot chocolate coffee, your deer, that kit. So you have, if you bought each kit, you have a minimum of 6 of these, but up to 12 if you, flip these around inside out. If you, got creative and, cut these up and put them on something else where you can mix and match these 4 cards. So you have some great potential for any one kit. A couple pieces would be pretty standard where you have the same cover possible options. But if you picked up the other kits, then you have even more to play with, because I do a good size journal card in those, both sizes. So, all right, let's keep going and see how we do. As you can see, it's just been my day between folding, cutting, and now the glue. I've been doing really good to make sure that you bring your glues and your Mod Podge and all that into the house, because 2 weeks ago it was all because it was 90 plus degrees out and I didn't want things to get hard or dry out. And then of course we the past 2 or 3 mornings we've dropped down into the high 20s, low 30s. So I don't want to worry about my garage and all my glues and stuff freezing. And apparently, even though I've had a combination of the rubber stoppers on it and the pin in it, it clunked up. So, But alright, now it's all folded, it's all glued down, it's secured. You can see that scallop, which makes for a fun little inner fold, and everything fits beautifully. Now, this would be your choice to decide whether or not you put a word down or something to maybe help tuck the envelope in. Find something to put in there to help just tuck the envelope down so that it doesn't keep popping open. That would be your, creative choice. So I'm going to go and work on the Hermelina pocket folds that we talked about, the corner pockets. And I want, like I said, sort of stuck to the ornament theme. Made my triangle, right? Get it to work. It's amazing. It's all about how you cut things. So again, you would write on the inside once it was glued down. Now you could put it on a paper and it just fits. You could put it on the outside of that signature piece. But I'm thinking that the corner on the inside of the cover is actually really helpful because it gives you the ability to write something to the person you give it to, or leave it blank to let them write their own thing in there. So there's instructions, like I said, where to cut, where to glue to remind you, so you don't glue the whole thing down and you lose your pocket. You could, if God forbid you did it, you would be a cute little fold out, hide a hole, but you don't want to lose you'd hate to lose your pocket on all this. I mean, that'd be a bummer. Everything needs a pocket. We need pockets everywhere, right? So it is cute, and it really help the next thing sort of pop out and stick out. Okay, back to cutting my long strips for all my pieces. I did notice that right where I put the instructions for these... Sorry about that. That the pieces for the Hermelina instructions do leave a perfect pink strip on the backside to work on. Oh, sorry about that. Glitch. Yeah. Okay, so I'm cutting out the card, which could be a cover or could be a cute insert. And apparently in the process somewhere there, my computer glitched. Doesn't surprise me. So now I'm working on, as my, interesting. My camera moved. So I'm working on the lace to cover up the silly sewing spots. So it's not so obvious that it's all junked up weird. Which was perfect because I think I like the idea of the lace for another layer for decorating. And in the end, the cover photo will show what I did decorate this all up as, so you can sort of see how this ends. We'll see how far we get in this video. Only downside is, you'll find out in a second, I did it backwards. I actually wanted to put more lace on the front for the layering and a little less on the back. And it did lead to the possibility of maybe decorating the back a little bit more. I still haven't decided whether I'm going to or not. Because it's the back. Like, I don't know how exciting the back should be or if people would, look at it or use it. So I may put some paper, I may put some gems, I may put some layers, I don't know. But in the end, I made it work. Which it was off camera, so you'll have to see it sooner or later. But it definitely put a little kink in my designing style when the lace wasn't where I expected it to be. Okay, so at this point, I get into the nitty-gritty of trying to figure out how to decorate it to my liking with what I have. This is where it does come into what you have for, come into play for what you have in your stash. So what papers and things you have, which I can't, I cannot guess on everything people do and don't have and decide how it's gonna work. So yeah, I do have to decide a little bit. I need to add some layers. I need to add something to give some dimension, because I just realized I goofed up and put the heavier lace on the back, which I was sort of hoping to use to overlap. And since I already put, everything inside, yeah, it's okay. Which the nice thing is that there is a little bit more lace in the back to give it some dimension. Like you saw, I may put a piece of paper down there, maybe I'll glue it, put another layer over it, find a way to decorate the back so it's not so bland. But not too much because no one sees it unless they happen to flip it over. And definitely put another layer, almost border this, either semi-border it, partially border it, something, to help this pop off of this. I still have to distress this. So this is where we come down to the nitty-gritty, and I'm not going to, go for it forever for you guys. You aren't used to watching me for a full-on craziness of decorating. I'm not the expert in that in any sense. I'm also not there. But I appreciate you watching. I appreciate you seeing this. This is my newest kit that'll be out. It is like I said, all three of my Christmas kits or winter kits will have a mini file folder journal or book. I don't know if it's a booklet or journal, because you can write in it. So it is journaling capability, but you can decorate it up and make it a little mini. You could really decorate this up with the other kits and make it just completely decorative and make it a booklet that you just give to a friend. And fellow crafter who either doesn't do this but appreciates it, or does it but never makes anything for herself. Sometimes it's nice to get something that you didn't have to create and someone else creates it for you. So I appreciate you watching and tagging along as I figure out the ins and outs of my limitations. But on the graphic end, I feel we definitely have a good start and a very simple book that you could give out and give away as is. Like I said, we'll the video cut off, but yeah, these cards do fit in here if you want something different on the front, which I'm almost debating on myself, and with a lot of cream on cream. Change it my feel, but this one could be decorated up, and I sort of left room to either stamp something on it, put lace on it, whatever, or just leave it as a simple journal card. But it does fit beautifully inside these Hermelina folds in this pocket. So you could write, like I said, your friends, a little message to your friend, as a little peekaboo, note to whoever you hand this to, or you leave it empty and let them fill it in. Totally up to you. Makes it a great little insert card. Either way, however you do it, whether it's inside, outside, there's room for it, and it's pretty good, good enough size to be a good pocket, but not so big that it overshadows. And a little trimming could make it, a fit for you. If you're a little tighter to the cut, can make it a little smaller to actually fit on a page. But with the cardstock, I definitely would suggest something a little heavier. But I think it'd be cute here. I think it's cute here. So I rotated it to make it fit there. But it could be on the back. Totally so many options. There is plenty of play and multiples on this kit. So I really hope you enjoyed this. I hope you'll go take a look. And by the time this is aired, I will hopefully have all 3 kits up. If not, be patient within a day or two. All 3 will be up. And look for the word mini file folder journal, so you know that you have this smaller kit for each one of them, because they're all labeled shabby Christmas at home, Christmas at your door, or snowy winter. So it's just the ending that makes a difference. So take a look at all of it, and hopefully by photos, you will be able to tell that, this is the kit in question that we're working on. So thank you so much, and following along here at AJeweldDesign, and this is Jolene, and I hope you have a great day and an eventful weekend. Good eventful, creative eventful, happily eventful weekend. Thanks guys, talk to you soon.